So let's start with a quick question. We hear assault and battery thrown around like it's one thing, but it's not. One is the threat of harm, and the other is the actual harm. Any idea which is which? Just hold that thought. I promise by the end of this, you'll know it cold. Let's dig in, starting with the threat.
First up, we've got assault. Honestly, the best way to remember this, legally speaking, is to just think of assault as the threat. It's the action that creates that feeling, that fear, that something bad is about to happen.
Now, what's really fascinating about this legal definition is that an assault is an act that causes someone to have a reasonable apprehension of an imminent battery. Those are the magic words right there, apprehension and imminent. This means the crime is the attempt to cause harm, not the physical harm itself. You literally don't have to touch a single person to commit assault.
So, for something to legally be an assault, it has to pass this little three-part test. First, the act has to be on purpose. You can't accidentally assault someone. Second, the victim's fear has to be reasonable. Would an average person in that situation also be scared? And third, and this is the part that gets a lot of people, the harm has to feel imminent, like it's about to happen right now. That's why saying, "I'll get you next week," doesn't count as assault. The danger just isn't immediate enough.
Okay, so if assault is the threat, what happens when that threat becomes real? Well, that's exactly where battery comes in. Battery is the follow-through. It's the actual physical act.
So, the official definition of battery is the intentional and unconsented use of force that causes harm or offense. This is the landed punch, if you will. Unlike assault, physical contact is absolutely essential for there to be a battery.
For an act to be considered battery in court, it has to check all these boxes. You've got the intent behind it. Then, of course, the actual contact, the follow-through. This has to lead to some kind of harm. And, crucially, it all has to happen without the victim's permission and without any lawful reason, like a cop making a legal arrest or something.
All right, now that we've got the individual definitions down, let's put them side by side. This is really where the distinction becomes crystal clear, and it's perfect for studying.
And this table just lays it all out so well. I mean, look at the row for contact. For assault, it's not necessary at all, but for battery, it's the whole point. Or check out objective. Assault is all about the threat, while battery is about causing actual harm. Assault is the attempt, battery is the result. This is the perfect summary right here.
If you need a super simple way to lock this in your brain, just think of it like this. Assault is the swing and a miss, the action that makes you flinch away. Battery is the swing that actually connects. The attempted swing versus the landed punch. Simple as that. Okay, so knowing the definitions is one thing, but how does this all play out in a courtroom? Let's take a look at how someone might actually build a legal defense if they're charged with assault or battery.
So, a charge doesn't automatically equal a conviction, not by a long shot. The law has several built-in defenses. The most common ones, as you can see, are about justification, like self-defense or defending your property. Others call into question the person's state of mind, like if they were intoxicated or forced into it. And sometimes, the defense is simply that the prosecution can't prove every single one of those legal elements we just talked about.
Now, self-defense is probably the one we've all heard of, but it's not as simple as it sounds on TV. For a self-defense claim to actually work in court, it usually has to meet all four of these conditions. The threat you faced was illegal, your fear was reasonable, you didn't start the fight, and, this is a big one, you had no other reasonable way to get out of the situation. It's a pretty high bar to clear.
So, we have defined assault, we have defined battery, we've compared them, and we've even looked at the defenses. But let's just zoom out for a second. Why does the law even bother with this? Why separate the threat from the act? What's the point?
And this right here, this is the whole reason. This distinction isn't just for law students to debate. It's a powerful preventative tool. By making the threat alone a crime, the law gives us a way to step in before a punch is ever thrown. It basically recognizes that the fear of violence is, in and of itself, a type of harm that's worth preventing.
So we'll end with this. The fact that you can be held legally responsible for assault without ever laying a finger on someone, well, that's a powerful statement. It leaves us with a pretty fascinating question to think about. What does this tell us about what our legal system really values? Is it just about our physical safety, or is it protecting something deeper, like our basic right to live free from the fear of being harmed?